And if I lose, I lose. If I win, I win. But I don't think he wanted to be champ anymore.
No, that's why his post-fight interview made it sound like that.
All right, guys, we're back from smoke break. It's fucking hot in our house, so we had to step out for a few minutes because I was gonna melt.
Yeah,
it's fucking hot.
Need some air.
Can't put the AC on while we're recording because the guys won't hear anything.
No.
So apparently, there's breaking news. In the UFC, in the MMA world.
MMA world.
What
yes,
the fuck?
Indeed. Big news.
So, John, tell me the breaking news right now.
UFC 168, Weidman versus Silva 2.
Oh,
we get the rematch,
right.
and Silva can
and
get
really
his belt
show.
back.
You know that a few days ago I read that based on rumors that the rematch was going to happen, that Silva was already a 2-1 favorite.
Yeah, that's what I had heard as well. I forget his name, but the odds maker in Las Vegas had set it at 2-1.
Just goes to prove that.
That's how seriously they take the win.
Weidman didn't beat Weidman in my opinion. Weidman didn't beat Silva in my opinion, but Silva beat Silva.
Yep, Silva lost to Weidman.
He goofed around with his hands around.
Hey, we've seen him do it before. It's entertaining. He's gotten away with it against lesser competition. I was laughing through the first round watching that fight with my brother, saying, here he is, doing what he does best, getting in the other guy's head, fucking with his head.
You know what I hated the most about that first round? Is when he fucking hugged at the end. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Listen, I get the respect.
I don't think it's the first time he does that either.
Listen, I don't give a fuck about it. I get the respect thing. You need to. Coming from a background where I practice mixed martial arts and respect. I respect the work I put in the gym when I'm fighting. I respect my opponent's work in the gym. It's not fucking easy, and I respect the fact that he has the guts, the balls to get into the ring to face me, and he needs to respect the fact that I get in there. There's a whole respect to the martial arts game. But once the fucking cage closes, fuck the hugging.
I agree.
There's no place for hugging. Okay, at the end of the first round, if it's entertaining and the crowd's going crazy, high five, go back to your corner. Great round, good job. That I don't have a problem with. But to look at each other, Silva basically laughed out loud and hugged him. And I was like, dude, you're toying with him. You're making this into a mockery. You're seriously making this into a mockery. And then the second round, he started off and he landed these big leg kicks. And I'm like, here we go again. He's going to put his hands down. He's going to go against the cage like he did against Bonner. And like he did in the first round. He's going to step back and he's going to fucking do his Roy Jones Jr. impersonation. He fucking goes in there and boom. He bobbed when he should have weaved and bang, right on the fucking jaw and he goes down. You know?
Yeah, it was a shame. I mean, my first reaction was he threw the fight. He just didn't want to win. He didn't care anymore. And his post-fight interview, I think kind of would convince you even more. It just felt very, he's the best. He's the best. Chris is the best. He's the best.
How did you
champion.
react
He's
when,
the best. So it was almost like, okay, he's the best. He's your champ now. Like, leave me alone. I'm going back to my family.
How did you react when Joe Rogan was asking all these questions and he was just like basically not answering?
Not answering anything. And just, again, going like, he's the best. Family, not making any sense. If there was any one time that I wanted to be translated through Ed Soros, was at that very moment. I mean, obviously, thank you for sharing the fact, finally, and proving to Sonnen right that you do have a very firm grasp of the English language, Anderson Silva, but he made absolutely no sense in that post-fight interview. And
but he's very weird. He's been weird a lot.
He's always kind of been goofy.
But this time, I think when Joe Rogan was asking him the question, he was kind of brushing it off and making it obvious that he had other plans. And is that... Like, I don't want to bring this back up. Every time I bring it up, people... But the fact of the matter is, Anderson Silva has been horny for this Roy Jones Jr. fight for years. Yeah. For years, he's been asking to fight Jones Jr. in a boxing match. And the fucking fact is that just for the past week before UFC 162... Is it UFC 162?
I think it was.
Yeah.
I've lost track. There's so many of them.
Fucking Dana White has always discounted the fact that this will never happen. He fucking started talking with Roy Jones Jr., Mr. White, before UFC 162, and Roy Jones Jr. was at the fucking fight that night, just hugging it out with Jones, staring down pictures with John Jones and shit like that. Dude, what are you doing in the crowd? Are you telling me that Jones Jr. is gonna be brought in at 46 years old 46, 42, what the fuck age you are in your 40s to fight a UFC fight like James Stoney? Please don't tell me that. And the fact of the matter is, it's been known that Anderson Silva wants to fight him. Did he really? And to make matters worse, the guy's been champion for 6-7 years. I can't even keep fucking track anymore.
He hasn't
since
lost
he won
since
against
2006,
Franklin.
I think, right?
He lost 2 fights before he signed with the UFC. With that flying heel hook.
Yeah. Rio
Chonan.
Yeah.
And then he won in a fight against I don't know who, and then he got signed with the UFC and basically having...
Yeah, his first fight, he demolished Chris Lieben, right?
Then after that, he fought Travis Lutter. No, then after that, he fought Rich Franklin.
Did he get the title fight right after after demolishing Lieben, eh?
He
busted up
destroyed Franklin's nose. And then after that, he fought Travis Lutter in a
Non-title.
non-title match.
Because Fatso couldn't make weight.
And he almost fucking lost that fight, Anderson Silva. If Lutter wasn't depleted,
it's true. He was out wrestling him.
I truly believe
that's it for anyone who thought Joe Sonnen had the formula. Well, Travis Lutter had it way before, and even then, Henderson showed a bit of it.
Triangle choke. Remember?
Yeah.
If I truly believe if Travis Lutter wasn't depleted from trying to cut weight, he would have beat Anderson Silva that night. It would have sucked ass that he actually beat him for a non-title match.
Imagine the whole scope of MMA would have been completely different.
Travis Lutter as Anderson Silva for the past 6 years?
Imagine.
He would have lost the belt the next time.
Yeah, it would have went back and forth just like the belt used to before Franklin had won.
And then after that...
And even then, Franklin only defended it a few times, 2-3 times.
And Franklin won it against... he won it against the guy who's dead now.
Evan Tanner.
Yeah. With cuts. Remember? He cut up his fucking face bad. Remember the fight? I was so disappointed. You know what? I was just starting to get back into MMA. And watching it is that fucking fight with the Crow Loiseau, where everybody thought this is the guy, this is the Canadian, and to give his credit where credit is due, Loiseau was on a fucking tear, and he was destroying his fucking opponents with his striking like nobody. That fucking flying knee against McCarthy was a thing of beauty, and still see him in the highlight reels today. And then he fucking faced Franklin with the experience and the calm, and he just lit him up for 5 rounds.
Yeah. No, Loiseau wasn't a
holy fuck. The
completely different
face
fighter after
of
that.
Loiseau after. Totally different fighter. Yeah. Totally different fighter to this day.
Yeah.
He can't pull the trigger anymore. Can't pull the trigger. And I've seen Loiseau in training. I've been there. I've been in the gym when Loiseau was training. I've been there, and he is the best guy on the mat on any given day. He's the guy that gives it the most. He works hard and he's good in training. But then the fucking cage doors locks out, and he becomes this different fighter. And I've been there, and I could tell you, it's a different fucking story when you're just there going, holy fuck, I'm in a cage right now. And that guy across the ring, it looks like he's a mean motherfucker. So you know what? Loiseau is fighting soon in a Canadian, I think, promotion. So all the best to him. I hope. Yeah. Hopefully, he's still fucking young. He's my age or a year or two older than me. So I mean, listen. As a fighter, I'm 32 years old, and there's fucking Anderson Silva's 38, and people that want to believe that age caught up to him, age didn't catch up to him.
How many times have you seen him hurt and rocked in a fight
7
in the last 7 years?
The fact that he hasn't lost a fight in 16 bouts, the fact that he's defeated guys in a weight class above him. Listen, Anderson Silva beat Anderson Silva last
He got caught showboating for the first time. And yes, we're getting the rematch. I'm happy. I think that kind of dismisses any conspiracy theories. The fact that Dana wanted the rematch right away, and that it got announced so soon. What happens if he shows up that night
and he kills Weidman?
Well, then it just goes to show and proves the fact that he just got caught showboating, and that's all it'll be.
Or the other flip side, if we show up on UFC 168 and Weidman wins again, either submission or TKOs him again, then there's no.
Then there'll be no doubt.
Then it'd be like, this guy's for real.
But get in the cage and fight him for real. Take him seriously next time, please.
I honestly
because it sucks. I mean, I'm sorry, but fans get gypped. out of a legitimate fight, and that's what happened.
Of course.
I mean, we all know how the UFC operates right now. They've oversaturated their events so that now the amount of quality fights on each card is less and less. You're getting names that have no business being on the main card just because there's too many fucking fights.
UFC 162 was a fucking perfect example. So, if Anderson Silva or Chris Weidman got hurt the week before the fight, there's no
Frankie
UFC 162.
Frankie Edgar and Charles.
There's no fucking way Charlie Oliveira is a main event guy.
Exactly.
Frankie Edgar's been there.
Edgar, okay,
Charlie
but
Oliveira,
still, Edgar's coming off 3 losses. I don't think anybody coming off 3 losses should be in a main event.
Let's be fucking honest. Charlie Oliveira put up a great fucking fight against Frankie Edgar.
Yeah, he's a great fighter. I love watching the Bronx. I love him.
He made a fan out of me that night because I was not a fan of his.
Oh, I've been a big fan, especially since he dropped down to 145.
Out of me that night. But let's face it, there's no fucking way that was a main event fight. There's no fucking way that if Anderson Silva and Weidman was fighting, that they couldn't have canceled. They would have fucking canceled 162, and that sucks because back in the day when I fucking was watching the UFC, back in the day when fucking every 3 out of the 5 fights on the main event were fucking main event
fights.
I
would spend the entire day from watching the prelims on Facebook to watching and even then, okay, the Facebook prelims only been around, maybe 2 years now?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was towards the tail end of having these loaded cards because then the UFC on Fuel and FX and all stuff, and now on Fox show started to really disperse, the talent and put them on 30-something, 40-something shows a year practically. The quality wasn't the same, but still, you had loaded events where I could watch 8 hours of UFC fights, and they were good fights. And then when the main card came around, I mean, it was the cream of the crop. But now...
Remember the fight cards where you had, on the same card, you had a Matt Hughes, you had a Tito Ortiz, you had a Chuck Liddell, you had a GSP, you had a BJ Penn on the fucking same card. I know. Might throwing names out there, but
I'm all for the young guys, and entertaining fights are entertaining fights, but when there's no real stake in the fight, when there's no real consequence to these 2 guys coming out, and they're going to put on a good fight because they're 2 fucking guys who love to bang for 3 rounds, but if both of them are coming off losses and aren't even in the top 10 in their division, who the fuck gives a shit?
Yeah. No, and you know what the perfect fight on the main card of this was what was the first main card fight?
I'm trying to remember. I have to look it up because I don't remember. I didn't watch all of it.
I watched the prelims on because I get it on Sportsnet, so obviously I'm gonna watch it. But let's use our trusted iPad here. Oh, I fucking closed. Oh, I got it.
I got it quicker than you.
162.
Ooh. There we go. So 162. We got that right. Oh yeah. Well, you had here you go. Cub Swanson, Dennis Siver. Okay, good fight.
Great fight, by the way.
Tim Kennedy versus Roger Gracie. Here's a good example.
Perfect example.
2 Strikeforce guys. I love the Strikeforce guys coming in and winning fights. I'm loving that. Was a big fan of anything that was not UFC, just for the sake of there being competition and alternatives.
For sure.
So, and it sucked that they all got absorbed to the UFC, but these guys are getting a chance and proving that Strikeforce wasn't a feeder league, wasn't minor league compared to the UFC, right? But Tim Kennedy and Roger Gracie, what does Tim Kennedy get out of this win? Not much.
Not much. And
he's not moving. He's
everybody knew that Roger Gracie, if he didn't submit you in the first round, he was going to run out of gas in the second and the third, and you're just going to fucking outstrike him for the rest. And basically, that's what happened. Yeah. Even Tim Kennedy was able to take him down at a certain point, and just Roger Gracie's cardio is just not there, and his striking is just not. He's a fucking Gracie.
He's a Gracie.
Belt, submission artist. We give it that, but this isn't a fucking BJJ tournament.
Exactly.
You know that old saying was, a black belt that starts to get punched in the face turns into a white belt. Well, that's what the fuck happened. Yeah. But you're right. And you know what? Something else here.
And Tim Boach.
Why wouldn't you put Tim Kennedy? I'll give him the guys his due. Right. He's a fucking veteran of the game. He's been fighting in Strikeforce, and he's got talent. That fight. I would have easily put Andrew Craig versus Chris Lieben as the first fight on the main card, and then I would have bumped Roger Gracie and Tim Kennedy as the last fight on the prelims.
Yeah.
You're putting a Gracie name and Tim Kennedy on the last fight of the prelim, so people are going to tune in. It's the same. You're getting the same result because people were going to tune into the prelims just to see Chris Lieben.
But even then, Chris Lieben and Andrew Craig doesn't belong on the main card either, though.
They don't. No, Chris Lieben.
And even
did you watch that fight?
No, I didn't see it.
I watched that fight, and
I caught Edgar and Oliveira, and I caught Weidman and Silva. That was it.
I became an Andrew Craig the first time I saw him fight in the UFC. He fought, I think, Cal Noak.
Yep.
confirmed that. Remember that?
Who's going on to
and
coach?
Cal Noak fucking was a favorite in that fight, and this guy just came in and fucking destroyed him.
Yeah, Kyle Noak back in UFC on FX, Alves versus Camp.
And then he fought Rafael Nadal, and he won. And then he lost to
Ronnie Marquez.
Holy shit! This guy's the Ultimate Fighter.
Ronnie, he's the Ultimate Ronnie Jason. No, isn't that what he goes as? He
Jason Marquez
comes out with the Jason mask.
Yeah,
is that him?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. Andrew Craig is a guy, but Chris Lieben is the guy's a fucking veteran. He's been there for years, man. Ultimate Fighter 1. But he's whining.
I don't know if he's.
Let's just say that I don't think he'll ever hold a middleweight belt in his career, and I think he knows it. And this fight just proved it. He came back from a 1-year suspension, and he got out. He got outstruck. Yeah, he got taken down a few times, but at the end of the day, man, as much work as he puts in the gym, you see it for the first few minutes. Dude, he looks different, and then second and third round comes around, and he goes back to the old Lieben, swinging and swinging, going for the knockout, absorbing all these fucking punches. If any guy is gonna have a fucking slur in his speech, it's gonna be fucking Chris Lee. I'm sorry, I don't want to be mean, but Jesus, this guy.
I mean, I've always kind of felt for the guy ever since that what happened with the Ultimate Fighter, him getting picked on there by Josh Koscheck and the other dude. Thank you. Well, we don't have ladies with fans yet. We don't have that budget yet. But and you felt for him. You felt for his daddy issues and his drinking problem, and you can see this guy's got a lot of baggage. So it was nice to see him have some success in UFC and put on these entertaining fights and become this character.
It was like a character.
Yeah,
because people were tuning in expecting to see somebody get knocked out, or to see a guy take extremely amount of punishment and just keep coming like a fucking zombie.
Yeah, but when he showed up, was it against Bisping when he showed up super ripped? And that's the first time I think he got busted for steroids. Yeah. And he was wearing the cornrows.
Yeah, bro.
And I started getting his tats, and I said, "Oh shit!"
The only time I was really impressed is when he fucking submitted Akiyama. Did you ever hear that fight?
Yeah.
That fight was fucking for real, man.
Yep.
That fight. It's still one of my favorite fights of all time. I remember watching that fight at La Casual Spa because that night was Lesnar versus Mir. I think was that it?
I believe so.
The main event. It was Lesnar against somebody. Who did?
Or maybe it was Carwin. Was it Carwin? Maybe.
Yes, it was Carwin. When Carwin destroyed him in the first round.
Yeah.
And then
the ref just let him take 100 punches to the face because he was Brock Lesnar.
And then after that, he fucking his body just said, "Dude, you're not going. This is not gonna work in the second round.
We only have enough for 5 minutes.
You shot your fucking load, bro." That's what his body told him. And he knew it. He's retired, by the way.
He is. Well, too many injuries. Just not able to. I mean, what was he? He was out for a year. Was supposed to have his comeback fight against Roy Nelson after coaching the Ultimate Fighter. Had to pull out from injury, and then he retired after that, I believe, right?
Dude, if you're a heavyweight and you weigh 250, 60 pounds and you're fucking muscled like that guy, imagine walking around and have to pull out. And I'm 205 pounds right now, and I can't imagine walking around pulling 265 pounds.
Yeah,
going in the gym every day, punishing my body, and then going home and have to drag 265 pounds of my body.
Yeah.
That's fucked up, man. And Carwin, wait, Ron, the fuck? Too much wine.
Too much wine.
I'm starting to get drunk right now. He's a wrestler.
Yeah.
Let's face it, wrestlers put their bodies through hell. Either if it's for cutting weight or either if it's for just wrestling. Wrestling is fucking... Take it from me, from somebody that does MMA, wrestling is fucking hard. It is the discipline that takes the most out of your body. I mean, as much as Muay Thai takes it out on your shin and you're fucking... Like, I did Muay Thai yesterday, and I probably have, fucking... blue marks on my legs everywhere, but it's just... Wrestling is hard. It brings your cardio to a whole different level if you do it right. But, man, you see these wrestlers, and it's weird because you see, a guy like Couture, which is basically a wrestler. But the difference people don't realize, this guy is a Greco-Roman wrestler. He's not a takedown. He's not a double leg, single grappling kind of guy. It's more of an upper body. I'm going to control you, dirty box the shit out of you. And plus, let's face it, Couture is a freak of nature. And that guy could fight till he's 55.
Yeah.
He should. In my opinion, I still think today he could still fight today and win fights.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Half of the heavyweight division in the UFC.
Yeah, and the other half of the light heavyweight division, too. I think he could drop down to 205.
Did he finish his career in the UFC at light heavyweight?
His final fight was against...
Was it Vera?
Yeah, he fought Vera. That was at 205.
He fought Minotauro, too. Was that his last fight?
And then he fought Minotauro, and he lost to Minotauro, right?
Oh, man, I remember.
Yeah, that might have been I think that was his last one.
You think so? No, but the Minotauro was at heavyweight, though. No, he fought James Toney. That was his last fight.
Oh, then he got the Toney fight.
No, he fought... No, sorry. He fought Machida.
Machida, that's the 205 fight. I was forgetting. The face kick,
done.
the front face kick, the crane kick.
He lost his tooth that day.
Didn't he get the crane kick, the karate kick?
Boom.
That was the one, right?
The face. He faked it. He faked the left. Faked the left and got him right in the face. Lost his tooth. If you look in slow-mo, you see a tooth flying out.
No, Randy got caught. He's 50 now. He's 50. Just turned 50 on June 22nd.
Can you believe a guy in the Hall of Fame? This is the difference between fucking boxing and MMA. Randy Couture is 19-11. You think a boxer with a record of 19-11?
Okay, how many fights pad
about
boxers
35?
records?
About 35 before they start making. Hey, look at this guy. He's amazing, dude. He's 35-0, and this is the first time I hear about him.
Exactly.
If I fucking heard about a guy in UFC in the MMA that was 35-0, and it's the first time I ever hear about that guy, I'd be like, dude, there's something wrong with that.
It doesn't happen, eh? Think of it. It's true. You look at a guy, like, who's the best example is Glover Teixeira, who's come over finally after all these years, and he's not young either. He's 30, 31, I think, almost already, but hadn't lost in forever, but he's proven that he is the real deal. But there's not many of those guys that are coming over from overseas or from outside the UFC. He's going to be fighting Ryan Bader next, actually. That should be a good fight. Yeah, but see, he's a guy that... It's funny, eh? For all the guys that get moved up the ladder quickly, they're taking their time with Teixeira, and they were taking their time with Gustafsson, but now they've kind of rushed him into a fight against Jones because there's no one else.
There's no way he can beat John Jones.
No, but at least
John Jones at least
they'll have somebody as tall as him to compete against.
You know, here's a beef. I got in a fucking beef with everybody in the MMA world, and whoever fucking makes the pound for pound whatever website. Dude, Anderson Silva, pound for pound, best fighter in the world. Number one for years, right? Let's face it, it's the truth, right? Anderson Silva.
Yeah.
He loses to Chris Weidman.
Don't tell me somebody's put Chris Weidman as number one.
Number 4. Anderson Silva drops to number 4 behind Jones. Let's say, okay, I can see Anderson Silva dropping to number 2 behind Jones, okay? He drops to number 4. Got Jones, GSP, Jose Aldo, Jose Aldo, and Anderson.
So Anderson's at least still above Benson Henderson.
Dude. Okay, I don't give a fuck who you are. Anderson Silva is at least number 3 on that list.
No, I agree. I think he's still.
He's number 2.
I think he's still number 1. Just because he lost the fight.
He can't beat John Jones though. John Jones.
No. But pound for pound isn't supposed to be that this guy can beat that guy. It's just that pound for pound.
To what he's accomplished in his fucking division.
And considering he's actually fought a weight class above Anderson Silva has a couple of times and won, or 3 times now, right? Nobody else on that list has done that with the exception of...
no. Jose Aldo hasn't fought in different...
No, he hasn't fought at 155 in forever.
Not yet, but he could he probably demolished...
He could. He would beat most of the guys at 155.
The only thing but you know what I hate about that is because every time you watch Jose Aldo fight, there's always a question with his cardio. Always a question. It's always going to be, is this cardio going to be
There's always got to
enough?
be a storyline.
But every time Anderson Silva fights, there's never a fucking question about his cardio, and there's never a question about anything. So why would he be number 4 behind a guy that always has a question mark?
Because he lost, and all these ranking systems and whatnot is what have you done for me lately? And what have you done for me lately? You lost.
I can't wait
Anderson,
for the UFC's ranking to come out because apparently they're the official ranking.
Oh yeah, well thank God. At least they're working in collaboration with was it Fight Matrix and a couple of other and a bunch of different journalists and whatnot. So it's not just Dana and Joe Silva deciding who's who.
The fact that they have journalists, and let's face it, there might be 5 competent journalism in MMA, and the rest of the journalists are.
There's not. No. I mean, there's probably not a million great journalists out there. I mean, there are. There's more than a few. I mean, think about it. I mean, I think, we're educated MMA fans. I mean, you're an MMA practitioner and the fan. I'm someone who's been watching MMA for God knows how long. So I think that I could provide the internet with a pretty accurate top 10 list if I wanted to come up with my own. So who are we to dismiss these other guys that are actually getting paid to do it?
Right,
I mean, it has been around for long enough now, but I think the ones that are really good, I think, stand out. And there's only 1 or 2 or 3, like you say, and the rest are like, who are they? And I don't know. UFC kind of peaked, and I'd like to say that we'd be able to find out more and more, find more and more great journalists and these fighters, these gems that we haven't, this diamonds in the rough that we haven't discovered yet. But UFC already kind of peaked, and now we're kind of stagnant.
But you know what pisses me off is that out of the rankings, you could see who voted for who.
Okay.
2 journalism ranked, and they you see who they voted for as first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and so on and so forth. Mm-hmm. That's how it worked, right? 2 journalists voted Chris Weidman as the number 1 pound for pound fighter in the world.
That's ridiculous.
That's fucking ridiculous.
Somebody also voted Andre Markov for the Norris for best defenseman in the NHL this year. So anything,
really?
Yeah. Somebody actually voted for Andre Markov. They did. Hey, Mitch Melnick on TSN 690. He's been calling out for this guy to speak up already and admit who you are.
Oh, they don't name him.
They know.
Oh, they name him for the MMA. They name him.
Yeah, that's it. Well, yeah. I mean, this is for the official awards, right? And it's anybody.
Keep going.
So anybody who is accredited to vote, their votes will be revealed, but they won't attach their name to it. But you will be able to see who was voted and who got how many votes. So yeah, Andre Markov actually shows up on the list. No, you finish it. That's fine.
Oh shit, sorry.
So Andre Markov showed up on the list, and somebody had given him a first place vote, and that's absolutely ridiculous. So and this is hockey. This is at this point in year 2013. I think we should have journalists in hockey. I think there's enough of them out there that we shouldn't have to worry about stupidities like this happening. But it just goes to show that there's always going to be some jackass out there who's going to vote for something that you completely don't agree with. And it's just like MMA judging, right? How many bad decisions do you see? Cecil Peoples still has a job.
Yeah, that's pretty rough.
That is the biggest travesty in MMA. So
Chris
Weidman getting a couple of pound for pound votes could be worse,
I guess. And it's always been an issue with the judging, and it's not going away.
It always will be.
It's not going away.
Any sport with judging.
I don't want to put myself. Me and you could probably be better judges than half of these guys on the ring.
I think they need to. Do they have them? Are they allowed to use screens now? Do they have monitors yet? The judges, they still don't.
No.
And even talking about it, I know Joe Rogan's been talking about it for a couple of years.
Yeah.
How can you
would help? But
how can you not miss some of the action when you're sitting at cage level? I mean, I don't know what kind of vantage point you get in a fight where there's cameramen. There's different cameramen. There's the ref in the way. There's the grappling that goes on the other side of the cage. How are you supposed to catch every little moment if you don't have a screen? So yeah, I think definitely we could judge better because I'm watching it on the TV screen and I'm seeing every single thing happen.
At a different vantage point to say that. It's not like the judges are sitting next to each other. It's like a boxing fight. You fucking have one guy sitting on every side of the ring. Mm-hmm. I believe that's how it works. On 3 sides of the ring, you got one guy.
But boxers don't start grappling on the mat, right? Where it becomes impossible to see because how many times does it happen? A guy gets taken down on his back, but he's doing all the damage off his back, throwing elbows, Kenny Florian style.
Yeah.
But getting no credit for it at the end of the round.
Because the judge is on the other side of the cage and he can't see shit.
So all he sees is top position, right?
So if a guy is dominant for the whole fight, here's my issue. That's a big issue, and that's a great point you bring up. If somebody is dominant in a grappling position for the whole 3 rounds, and he's smart enough to get that guy take down in his corner, and his corner is on the other side of the cage from the fucking judge number 3. Well, guess what? That judge number 3 is just gonna look at it and go, "Hey, what the fuck?" And the rest of the fight, the other guy that's on this back is winning the striking. Well, guess who the guy on the other side of the fucking cage is gonna vote for? All I saw was a guy getting outstruck, and when he got taken down, all I saw was a back and an ass.
Exactly.
I didn't see all these elbows. I didn't see all these fucking things.
So the system isn't perfect. I don't know if it's flawed, but it isn't perfect, and they have some work to do.
It's hard to be perfect.
But it's just it's tough because they had their moment to get everything right, and that's why UFC had their chance I mean, you can't really just say UFC because, I mean, this is the MMA regulating bodies and associations in each state, right?
Yeah.
And, like Dana can't control what ref and what judge is going to show up for what fight, who gets assigned. So then maybe you put the blame on UFC associations or the boxing commissions and MMA commissions. Are they? Well, I guess they have MMA commissions and boxing commissions at this point. I think in Quebec it's the boxing commission. It is the same.
It's liquor. It's actually all one. It's called.
Yeah, it's all squeezed in together.
It's the liquor and gambling and all that shit. It's all the one.
It's all together, right? Yeah, they got one drunk who's having. That's a hell of a party. Imagine that Christmas party. Imagine them at Christmas. How do we get a job over there? But just to say, so they had their chance to kind of get things straight and really capitalize when just really UFC was the hottest ticket in town. And now people are like, oh yeah, UFC were the bullshit fucking judges show up to give the victory to the guy who shouldn't win, and where Dana's now looking more like Vince McMahon, giving guys like Chael Sonnen and Nick Diaz title fights even though they don't deserve it and are coming off of losses. I think they really missed the boat and they blew their chance.
But the thing with
so nobody cares.
I guess that you're right in a way where it would help if individual judges did have a screen. But if you don't know what you're looking at, if you don't know what a submission, like if I'm there's guys that get taken down, they get on their back and they start working for submissions. And in my opinion, if the guy on top ends up defending a submission for 40 minute, a minute and a half, the guy on the bottom is winning the fight for those minute and a half.
Yeah.
He's scoring the points.
It's the other guy who's defending.
So basically for that part of that fight, when they stand up, so say the ref stands them up or the guy stands up on his own. So for that minute and a half, the guy was on the floor. The guy on top was defending a fucking Kimura or was defending a triangle or whatever submission. The guy on the bottom was winning the fight for that minute and a half. So if you're scoring a fight as a judge, that minute and a half should not be scored because the guy on top got a takedown and ended up on top position.
No, I think after a takedown,
there has to be
if you've lost control within 30 seconds of taking down a guy, and then that guy ends up with 30 seconds of either a submission attempt or whatever the case may be. Well, I think that kind of dismisses the takedown that you got 60 seconds ago because you went nowhere with it.
I've been in grappling tournaments, and the grappling tournaments, if I take a guy down, I have to. I think it's like 5 seconds. I have to be able to control the guy before I get the points for the takedown. If I take somebody down and the guy pops up right away, the ref's not going to give me the points.
Exactly.
There's the guy counts and you get points, but only if you're able to control the guy on the ground. If somebody in MMA gets taken down and the guy ends up defending after the takedown, boom, you take him down, then you get your arm stuck and you're fucking defending a fucking choke or a submission for 2, 3, 4 minutes. The guy on the fucking bottom is winning the fight.
I agree.
He's got the offensive, but some people see takedowns. It's like somebody. It's perfect example.
Like a takedown and a knockdown is not the same thing.
No, it's not.
If a guy is dropping because you punched him in the chin and connected at the right spot,
dude,
do not tell me that somebody taking you down with a single leg or double leg is worth the same thing. It is not.
Especially if you're not doing anything after you've taken him down. I don't think the takedown should be taken in consideration as damage. It's the damage you exploit after you've taken the guy down. If I take somebody down and I rain elbows and punches and I control the fight, the tempo, and I end up beating the guy up, then the takedown is mine and the points are mine.
Yeah.
But if I take somebody down and I just fucking lay there,
if you're wrestle fucking him for 4.5 minutes and you walk out of the round with welts on your head because you've been elbowed from the bottom, then you lost that round.
Fuck no, you lost that round. You lost that round.
I agree.
I'm sure you lost that round.
Hey, we found something to agree on.
Yay. High five. Yeah, bro. What else we got to talk about here? Fucking another breaking news from yesterday, but which is fucking sad. But TJ Grant.
Oh, yeah.
Lone Canadian. Fucking probably the best Canadian fighter right now in the UFC, in the world.
Well, what? George isn't the best anymore?
Sorry, George. I forgot about George.
Well, George it's automatic, right?
Sorry, I put George in a. He's in
a category.
He's like international George.
He's international George. We can say it's Wayne Gretzky and then everybody else.
If George goes to the Philippines, people go fucking buck wild apparently. But
yeah.
If TJ Grant goes to the Philippines,
nobody
knows
knows
what the fuck he is. But outside of George St. Pierre, the number one Canadian fighter right now, TJ Grant, and he was in line for a fucking title fight against Benson Henderson, and due to a concussion he suffered during jiu-jitsu, apparently.
Yeah.
He's out of the fight, and Anthony Pettis is in. So Dana White gets basically what he wanted as a prize
It works
fight.
out. On top of that, and I didn't know this until they announced the fact that Pettis was stepping in. The fight in Milwaukee is actually Pettis' hometown, and where he still trains.
Is it in fucking
I
Milwaukee?
had no idea.
Yeah, I forgot about that. You're
So
right.
it's, and
here's
not to repeat what I heard last night on a radio show, but conspiracy theories. Isn't it convenient? Isn't it convenient that all this works
Even
out so
TJ Grant
well?
had to go on Twitter and say, "Listen, I'm really hurt. This isn't a conspiracy, and I've seen so many memes and shit already.
Mm-hmm.
This only happened yesterday. I can look at my phone
TJ
on
Grant
Instagram.
memes?
Oh yeah, that's saying what? I got a concussion with a question mark and a picture of him looking confused. Yeah, dude, you got a concussion. That's the thing we're gonna use. And as much as you want to believe that it is kind of I like when you say like good timing, because Anthony Pettis got injured, got taken out of the fight with was it Aldo?
Well, which was only a few weeks before the fight that he will be having with Henderson. Yeah. So it was weird.
There's a lot of things in the UFC in the last year or so since they've signed with Fox and the big deals and stuff that are being happening, and it's always in the favor. Mm-hmm. It never as much as injuries has happened, and it fucks with the UFC where like, holy fuck, we got no card. This is a shitty card because of you.
Because there's been a few.
On the flip side, there's a lot of things that has happened where injuries happen and the guy replacing it is a way bigger fight. Mm-hmm. And then this is the perfect case where you got Anthony Pettis, Benson Henderson, rematch.
Let's not forget, Pettis is the last guy to beat him
with the Showtime kick, where it fucking is probably the biggest highlight reel in MMA. Where he jumps off the cage and kicks him. I
saw a preview for the next UFC game,
which I saw live. By the way,
oh yeah,
it was playing on this TV right here in my room. There, my girlfriend was in bed, and we're like, "Hey, this is the last WEC event." Mm-hmm. She didn't know what WEC was.
She didn't know what it was.
But I was watching it on as we were going to bed, and I remember brushing my teeth towards the end of the fight, going, I'm just going to go right up and brush my teeth. Mm-hmm. And because this fight's over and it's a pretty tight fight, I'm not sure who's going to win. And I remember walking out of the bathroom into the bedroom with my toothbrush and watching the fight. And as I walked in the fucking room, I saw the Showtime cake, and I was like, holy fuck. That won him the fight.
Oh yeah,
in my opinion.
Well, I mean, he was winning the fight. It was a great fight. That was a great card. WEC put on great cards. That's one thing I missed the WEC. Those talking about action-packed cards, and even though a lot of people didn't know who some of these guys were, man, they were good fights.
Yeah, but because there was 135 and 145s.
Yeah, but man,
these guys
put on good shows. But yeah, it happened so quick too. I remember seeing going, did he just jump off the cage and kick him in the face?
Dude. People didn't realize that he did that in UFC, but a flying knee. Mm-hmm. He did that.
Yes. I remember that as well.
This guy is amazing. This guy is amazing, but he's not going to beat Benson Henderson.
I don't think so, because as Clay Guida was able to do against Pettis, out-wrestle him. Yeah. Guida's my guy, but a lot of people hate on him because his style's been a little less exciting over the years. He's getting a little bit smarter, I guess you could say. Yeah, but he proved that Pettis is not an elite wrestler.
He's a bit more of a Jackson fighter.
Yeah,
that's what you want to say.
But Bendo's a good wrestler, and I think he'll be able to
wrestle Pettis.
If he has to, if that's what it comes down to.
Scrambler though. Yeah. I remember in the first match where Benson tried to out-wrestle him, and Pettis just ended up scrambling and getting his back or getting a submission attempt.
Yeah, but I think Henderson's that much better of a fighter.
He's way better. Ever since he signed with the UFC, he's been the most improved fighter.
Pettis may be better, but Henderson's a lot better.
Yeah.
And
for sure.
then they were, is what I mean, respectively. And I don't. I think he'll put up a very entertaining fight. It'll make it interesting. But no, I think Henderson will be able to rely on wrestling if he has to win that fight.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah. I think Pettis, and not to take anything away from Pettis, his striking is amazing, and he's in a highlight reel. A human highlight reel.
He is.
He'll either kick you from the cage or whatever the fuck he does. Showtime. But he's a talented motherfucker, like really talented. But Benson Henderson, I was impressed the way he grinded out a win against Gilbert Melendez. Mm-hmm. Gilbert Melendez was no joke,
No, absolutely.
And Gilbert Melendez, was never a fan. I thought he was going to get destroyed.
Did you really?
I thought when he fought Benson Henderson, I thought that fight was going to last about 28 seconds. I'm exaggerating, but my point was that I thought Gilbert Melendez was not in the same category as Benson Henderson. And he proved me wrong. But at the end of the night, Benson Henderson took it to another level and won the fight. He did win a tight fight. It was a close fight, but he did win that fight. Well, and there's no argument.
Well, hopefully we'll see Showtime kick. Well, I don't know, hopefully, but it would be interesting, right, to see a new champion. We saw Weidman take the belt away from Silva finally. It'd be nice to see a changeover in the lightweight division if we get to see the Showtime kick version 2.0. And if it doesn't happen, well, next year when the new UFC game comes out, it's a featured move in the game, and I'll just be repeatedly doing that myself. Against a computer if I want to relive that moment. But it looks really awesome.
The only other belt I wish switched hand, I don't want to be, I'm Canadian, so I really wish, I want to see GSP lose his belt. I want to see him lose and get it back.
I've got to admit, I kind of want to see Johnny Hendricks win as well.
I want to see...
And as a Canadian, it's almost blasphemous because Johnny Hendricks like the All-American, right?
No, I think it's
boy.
Mostly to help George St. Pierre and his legacy. He has to. You know what? Maybe I'm wrong. He's lost his belt and come back from adversity when he lost to Matt Serra. But the loss to Matt Serra was his own fucking fault. I need to see him lose a real fight, a fight where he's prepared and the guy on the other side is just better than him, and then it brings because the fight against
it'll bring the
Matt
animal
Serra,
instinct out of him that he's been lacking.
Killer.
Yes,
it's
because
a killer.
That's what. Okay, yes, I would like to see Hendricks upset GSP and have a new champion, and give GSP also as a bonus the chance to redeem himself. But you know what? I'd be happier if GSP wins, but not only wins, but wins by knockout or TKO.
If he destroys,
if he could do that,
and he finishes him,
then I could forgive
that's the only way
less than exciting performances that even I defend in most debates amongst
I'm a
fans.
big GSP fan, not only because I'm Canadian, but because I think he is one of the best MMA fighters in the world.
How could you not respect the guy? You know, I love and then respect. I love the outspoken guys, but I can really appreciate and respect the classy athlete.
Of course.
And he truly is world class.
He personifies a mixed martial artist. He is an artist, and he respects his opponents, and he respects the sports. And he's just an amazing. I've spoken to him already face to face. Let's face it. I've seen him. I've talked to him, not for a long time, but I've been in the gym where he trains, and he's a nice guy, and he's just basically, I don't want to say regular guy, but he's a fucking nice regular guy. And when you just get down to it, the guy is very respectful. There's a lot of guys out there that sell their brand. Yeah. And I respect that as well.
When did this start, the whole branding thing?
I think it's when people started realizing that the money involved in branding themselves.
But I don't know. That in the term sexy to describe athletes and picks and trades and free agents, I hate that.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know when that's... Oh, he's the sexy pick.
You think?
What the fuck does that mean?
Sports.
He's a sexier hockey player.
I think, in sports, they're starting to merge into this social media and being popular, and like how the some sports athletes are very popular but are bad athletes. They're not good. Like who was Kardashian's fucking boyfriend / husband there? Chris Humphrey?
Yeah.
Which now plays for the Raptors, by the way.
Yeah, that is the same Chris Humphries, right?
No, sorry. He played for the Raptors.
He played
now he plays for my Celtics because he fucking got traded.
I saw his name. I didn't even realize this guy was an athlete. I had no idea what he was. I thought he was an arena football player or something.
Chris Humphrey played for the Nets, and he just got traded to the Celtics.
So he's gone to the Celtics.
Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett.
He went into Paul Pierce Garnett deal.
By the way, I might become a Brooklyn Nets fan.
Oh, yeah?
I'm a huge Paul
only
Pierce
for 2-3
fan.
years before they retire.
I'm a huge Paul
Only
Pierce
basketball
fan.
do you mortgage the future to acquire 37 and 38-year-old players.
I'm a huge Celtics fan since a few years back. But the reason I became a Celtics fan is because I became a Paul Pierce fan.
Yeah.
And then I was always somewhat of a fan of Kevin Garnett. And when the Celtics signed him, or he got traded, I don't remember which, but I even became a bigger Celtics fan. And I was like, that's my team. I was all before that. I was a Chicago Bulls when Jordan, Rodman, Pippen, and then I became a Boston Celtics fan because I love watching Paul Pierce. And now I'm like, who am I gonna identify with the Celtics?
Chris Humphries.
Ray John Rondo. Yeah, maybe he's a good player. He's a really good player. But maybe I'll become.
Isn't Ron though a jackass?
He is kind of.
Yeah.
Apparently, from what I hear, from what I read, he's a big jackass. So I might become a Brooklyn Nets fan, and let's face it, they have a their products are a lot better. I've been been wanting to buy a new hat for a while.
Yeah.
I'm like,
they got a
buy
nice
the
looking
Celtics
logo.
hat, but the fucking Brooklyn Nets looks
nice
badass. Why don't I fucking buy it?
You're talking to an ex-Seattle Supersonics fan.
I
so,
love the Seattle.
I don't know.
Sean Kemp?
I don't know. Yeah, Sean Kemp.
I had a buddy of mine who had the Sean Kemp.
Although not the
Kamikazes?
not the prototypical or classy athlete, however, kind of goes against what we were talking about. Sean Kemp.
What are you talking
Wasn't he a
about?
notorious wife beater? And had a drug problem, but anyway.
So is many people.
Yeah, but he was the Rain Man. He was fun to watch. I liked the Sonics back in the day.
He was exciting. So what do you think about this? I know it's a bit late, and we've been. What about this all free agency frenzy? What do you think about the NHL?
NHL, I thought salary caps were introduced to regulate this whole abuse of giving contracts to players that weren't worthy of it.
Teams that find ways to fucking.
And the cap dropping another $6 million. That's a superstar. Everybody's losing a superstar. And we can feel it. We know personally because we're in our keeper hockey pool. We play by the same rules. And we're all losing a star player next season, right?
Yeah.
Dropping from 70 to 64. Yet teams like the Edmonton Oilers are giving $3 million to Boyd Gordon. He doesn't even sound like a hockey player. The name Boyd Gordon doesn't even sound like a hockey player.
I'll be honest. I didn't know fucking order. I don't have any clue who Boyd Gordon is.
He's a typical grinder, third, fourth line player.
And how many $1 million did he get?
$3 million
for how long?
Season. I don't know, 3-4 years.
Are you fucking with
Just
me?
stupid contracts. The buyouts that we saw from Tampa and Philly. With Danny Briere being bought out in Philadelphia, and then the Canadians go ahead and sign him for 2 years at $4 million a season. I don't mind that deal. Talk about size. I don't care. He's Danny Briere. He's got talent, and he brings it.
He
in
brings
the
a lot
playoffs.
on the power play.
And the power play, nice to have too.
And he's a guy like Mike pointed out to me yesterday. Is it Mike or P that pointed it out to me yesterday? They said in 100 and somewhat playoff games, he's like almost like 1 point per game.
Yeah, he's got 108 points, I think, in 103 games, something like that.
It's fucking retarded.
He's just over a point per game. Yeah. And Marc Bergevin said it best. There's players that bring you to the playoffs. There's players that bring you through the playoffs.
P said the same thing yesterday.
There you go.
P or Mike. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Mike or P. I don't know. I think
I
think it was P.
But, yeah, love that quote. Yeah, I think it was probably P because me and P shared a love for that quote the other day as well.
Oh, that must be him. Yeah.
But just to show that happens, and then Philly uses that money to go and get Vinny Lecavalier. On the other side of the scope, Tampa Bay buys out Vinny Lecavalier to give $5 million a year to Valtteri Filppula. I'm still not exactly sure. I'm still not exactly sure to pronounce his name.
I had Filppula in my pool, and as much as he's a good hockey player, he's not advanced on Lecavalier at all.
And it works out to being the same amount of money. They could have kept Lecavalier. Okay, I'll bid for more years.
Let's
but
take
still,
that.
it's ridiculous.
Okay, let's for a Philly fan, let's take into consideration. They basically got rid of Briere to replace him with Lecavalier. Is that a good move or a bad move?
They're just stagnant. It hasn't
It's the
changed
same
anything.
level. There's
It's the
no
same
level.
thing.
And
Yeah,
you're
he's
gonna pay
taller,
him.
but it doesn't make a difference.
No.
Philly's
Especially
problem,
not in Philly.
Philly's problem is not down the middle. It's not
It's
acquiring
not.
another centerman. It's certainly not
And it's
acquiring
not
size.
physical play.
No.
He might
Philly
fight
needs
a
a
few
goalie.
times.
Philly
Yeah,
needs a
they need a goal.
goaltender.
And they
Ray
get Ray
Emery.
Emery?
They get Ray Emery. That's how they solve their problem. Philadelphia, they're just ridiculous. Anyway, ever since
They're
what they
gonna be
did
a
with
bottom feeder
the
for a few years,
Lindros,
you think?
I've hated the organization. But yeah, I think so. Until they get a real goalie. They haven't learned over the years, whether it was Robert Esch, whether it was Roman Cechmanek, whether it was Danny Boucher, or whoever the hell else they had in nets. Just, do you get a real goalie? If you want to win the cup?
You think they should have gone after like either Corey Schneider or Luongo, maybe?
Considering what New Jersey got Corey Schneider for, absolutely. That would have been the easiest deal to make.
How shocked were you when you learned that
Philly could have traded their 11th overall pick. I was shocked, absolutely. I couldn't believe it. All this talk, all this drama over the last 15 months, whatever
and
it's
then
been.
you keep Luongo and then you get rid of Schneider?
And you don't even get a player. You don't even get an asset back in the trade. You trade it for a pick.
Do you think it has to do with Schneider just showing up and going, you guys trade me or I'm fuck you?
No, it has to do with their GM being an absolute idiot. That's what it comes down to. I'm sorry.
So it has nothing to do with the players, but just basically with the management.
No, this is just they just completely destroyed. That whole situation was mishandled from the get go.
Do you think Luongo is still a number one goalie?
Oh yeah,
for sure.
I've never doubted that he's a number one goalie in NHL. Certain players just can't do it in the cities that they play for. Carey Price, but
yeah,
I would have easily offered up a trade swapping Price and Luongo about a season ago, and the Habs would have been able to get back probably a pick, probably a player in that deal too. And I think it would have worked out best for both teams.
I think there's some talent that just don't jive well with the team they play with. It's bottom line.
It's okay. We got Zach Fucale's coming up there for the Habs. In a few years, he'll be the next superstar.
You think Carey Price is not going to bring a cup to Montreal?
I don't think he can do it in the city, no. I don't
believe he can do it either. I don't
not
want
in
to
the
be
city.
a hater.
There's
a lot of people that love Carey Price and think he's.
I've defended him to death over the years, but this season
I don't want to hear any heat about that. But I don't think Carey Price is the real deal.
No,
I think he's
bring the heat. Why not? We need feedback.
I think he's the Marc-Andre Fleury of the Montreal Canadiens.
Yep, I agree. But even Fleury won a cup, but he had superstars playing in front of him.
They didn't win that cup because he was a
no, it wasn't because of him. Mind you, he played pretty well during those playoffs. But
as a Pens fan, I was pretty shocked when they said they were bringing him back and as the number one goalie.
Yeah, that was a pretty big shocker too.
But what I think happened is that the first playoff game they pulled him and put him Vokun in. I think they spoke to him and said, "Listen, you're not goaling another game this playoffs, and but next year you're a number one guy." And he just said, "Yeah, sure, no problem.
Clean slate.
Let's start over next year." But I think it fucks with his mental, and I think that the Pens are going to pay for it. I'm a Penguins fan. They're my team, but I think they're going to pay for it next year.
We shall see. Time will tell.
Again, LaFine with the Bruins, $6 million.
That's another ridiculous thing.
Fuck, bro.
He says no to the Bruins, goes to the Penguins, goes and it signs with the Bruins. The team that was booing him, the fans who were booing him in that city, now he's there. I don't know, that's ridiculous too. $6 million. Okay, there's a lot of bonuses, but most of the bonuses are based on how many games he plays.
Thinking he's just making
as long as he doesn't get hurt.
$1.8 million in salary and everything else is in bonuses.
Yeah, but I think as long as he plays 60 games, he gets $3.5 million or something too. Anyway, it's just crazy. Ryan Close making almost $5 million a year. He scored 3 goals last season.
That guy,
for 5 years.
Who's
Makes
that?
No sense.
Hamonic?
Makes no sense. Travis Hamonic. Yep. Defenseman for the Islanders. Who is he? Most people don't know who he is. Most hockey fans have no idea who he is.
Is he a number one D
on any other team in the league? In the Islanders, he is now because they lost Mark Streit, and I think that was the biggest thing they had. They needed to guarantee that somebody, but he has not proven anything yet.
He's still a young player.
He's still very raw. He's still young. He's got loads of potential.
But I love the Islanders.
8 years.
I love the
$28 million. Crazy.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
They're nuts. They're nuts in Long Island. Garth Snow and Charles Wong. They're crazy. They're crazy GM. He's insane.
Do you think a team like the Islanders can get away with a lot of that shit just because they?
Because they're not spending any money on anyone else? No,
I think because they fucking are grouped in an environment where the New York Rangers and the New Jersey Devils, where they're like that. Basically, they're a third New York team.
Yeah.
Nobody pays attention.
Exactly.
To them.
And they get their hardcore fans that have followed them since their cups back with the Brian Trottier and Mike Bossy days.
Yeah.
And then there's everyone else who whatever. It's okay.
You think they can move that team
even
somewhere else?
The Rangers are cursed too. The Rangers aren't winning the cup for another 50 years. So
I heard a ridiculous quote from, I won't say who, but if he's going to listen to this podcast, he's going to say that Lundqvist might get up to $9 million.
Really? Well, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets 8. Tuukka Rask is getting 7, right?
Yeah. So
Bergeron just signed $6.5 million.
They said that they believe that if he signs with the Rangers, he gets 8, but if he goes on the market, he gets 9.
Oh, I believe that.
9. If you're gonna pay $9 million for a goalie, you better fucking win the cup.
I mean, if you would ask me a year ago who the best goalie in the world was, I probably would have said Lundqvist. So I guess he's. I
believe that New York Rangers are a non-playoff team without him.
He needs to get out of that city if he wants to win a cup. That team's not winning a cup for 50 years. I told you. They're cursed. They're cursed in New York. Doesn't matter what they do. Doesn't matter who they acquire, who they sign, who they trade for. Cursed.
You think Alain Vigneault is going to be a better coach than Torts?
Yes.
You think Torts is going to bring Vancouver to the cup? You think Torts is a new man in Vancouver? You think he starts
for about a
weed?
month?
Yeah.
And then he goes back to his old ways.
Dude, he's in Vancouver.
He's going to go nuts with the questions he gets asked.
Do you imagine if he discovers weed and starts smoking weed? And maybe
it'll calm him down.
He lets his hair grow out.
Maybe he starts snowboarding.
Starts growing his beard out and starts being this whole hippie kind of goalie.
Yeah.
Hippie kind of coach. That would be amazing.
That would be
But
funny.
I'm a fan of Torts, but if I had him face to face, I'd tell him like, dude, you got to chill it with the media. You got to chill it with your team. You can't put a player of yours on the spot while you're in the playoffs and tell him he's garbage or the move he didn't or a pass he made was garbage. You can't do that.
No.
You can't fucking do that. Why would you do
I don't know. I don't know if he's going to change. He's been in the league a long time. He's obviously that type of person. He's got a lot of drive, a lot of passion. He's got quite the temperament. But I don't know if he can teach. I don't know if he can improve a team.
Yeah, but he's got a team of veterans there in Vancouver.
That's it. And I don't know what you're going to do. Exactly. I don't know what you're going to be able to improve. I get more out of the Sedins that Vigneault wasn't able to get. You're not going to get anything. The Sedins are going to look at you.
Go, what the fuck? It's like you're not going to teach.
Scoring titles between the both of us. And
who are you here to scream and swear at us?
Yeah.
I'll just go play in Sweden.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, biggest move in free agency. How about that Nathan Horton? I got to drop that guy.
Nathan Horton, fuck him. He's a pussy.
He's not even playing half the year because of his injury, and he's signing in Columbus.
Going to Columbus. If there's one player the Montreal Canadiens should have got over the last 5 years, I think any team should have got. What it was him, and I've been campaigning forever, saying the Habs got to get Nathan Horton, And what does he do? I want to play in a small hockey market. I don't want the media and the attention. So he goes to Columbus. So fuck you, Nathan Horton. You're a pussy.
If you were a professional athlete in any sport, wouldn't you want to strive in the biggest market available?
You'd think so,
your sport?
and I think and I think as soon as somebody says that, their value drops tremendously.
Or
it just goes to show his character.
He showed it.
He showed it,
to a smaller market.
But Columbus is happy to oblige. I mean, they got themselves a name. They got themselves a good player signed for $5 million.
Is he a franchise kind of guy?
No, but he's a good player. He was maybe a franchise guy in a team like Florida, maybe in Columbus. But Columbus had Rick Nash. They had a real star play for them before. So I don't know. They're like, no. This Nathan Horton, don't.
You can't compare Nathan
don't sell me a sheep in wolf's clothing and tell me it's a wolf, So I don't believe it. As far as the biggest acquisition of the offseason, I don't know. I mean, the free agent names out there weren't huge. There was some big names, but because of the contracts that were given, it kind of nullifies the fact that they were good acquisitions. Like David Clarkson, I'd say was a good move. Like anybody who got Dave Clarkson, it was smart,
especially with the team he signed with or that he got.
But for $5+ million for 7 years or 8 years, 7 years, I think that's the maximum, right? If you're signing with another team, then that kind of dismisses that. Like, okay, but now you're paying him till he's 35, 36.
Yeah. At
$5 million, like in 3 seasons, already Dave Clarkson is not worth $5 million. He will not nearly be close to being worth that much money in 5-6 seasons. So
how about Perron and Oilers?
Perron, big move for the Oilers. I like that move. I think the Oilers made a really smart move there, giving up Pajärvi. Out of all their young superstars, if there was one to give up that wouldn't matter, it was him, right? So they were pretty damn smart.
Don't you think they can still move one big superstar and get somebody that could help that team, like a Yakupov or like somebody else?
Well, they've already got. I mean, Taylor Hall, as far as I'm concerned, is one of the better players in the league already.
Yeah.
And he's only going to get better. Yakupov's only getting better. Eberle has proven that he's clutch. He's got tons of grit and talent. So he's fine. Yeah, Sam Gagner, was he re-signed or he's going to arbitration, I believe.
Yeah.
You keep him, but I mean he's maybe expendable. But no, you don't move Hall. You don't move Yakupov. They got Schultz at the D line. They drafted Darnell Nurse, who will be great down the line as well. I mean, they're heading in the right direction. I think maybe that's the smartest deal of the offseason because. They were able to improve without signing any ridiculous contracts.
Is it a big improvement in Perron? Or?
No, not huge, but it's a really smart move. I mean, they come out looking pretty good. No, sorry. You know what? Biggest acquisition of the offseason, Ottawa Senators. Getting Bobby Ryan.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Totally forgot. Thinking about focusing on signings, but talking about trades. Bobby Ryan giving up Silverberg in a first-round pick.
Yeah, that's big.
I'd give that up any day of the week to get Bobby Ryan. So
Bobby Ryan is big, physical, and he scores goals.
I love him. He's got tons of skill, great hands.
Definitely the biggest.
Needs to get a little meaner though.
If Spezza can stay healthy,
Oh, imagine those two playing together.
Yeah.
I
honestly, I believe that
if Zibanejad can have his breakout season. Ooh.
Yeah, I believe I don't want to be a hater either, but we've spoken about this move before. I think that's the biggest one, and the close to it. I think I want to believe because I have him in my pool, but I think Iginla in Boston is going to be he's going to be way better than he did in Pittsburgh for the short time he was in Pittsburgh. I think Iginla,
he's a better fit in Boston.
Yeah,
I agree.
I think he is, and I think for a whole 84 game season, I think he gets it done, and I think he might win the cup next year with the Bruins. I think it might be. I don't want to say that.
I'm
but,
getting nauseous. Don't say that. Don't say it's already hot enough in here. Don't make me dizzy.
Well, we've been going on, so I think we might split it in
yeah, this might be a two-parter, eh?
A two-part.
Oh, that's good.
Two-part.
Oh, I missed a call from Remo. Looks like we're booking our golf game tomorrow.
Are you? You going to play golf tomorrow?
Yeah, we're going golfing in our 30-something degree weather. We'll see if I can improve on the 108 I shot last week. I swear to God, man, I'm playing for 18 years, and I'm shooting worse scores now than I did when I was 16. Don't get it.
Really?
Don't get it.
I'm not a golf guy. I don't play golf. I tried for one summer, and I just I liked it, but I don't have the patience and the time. And Mike is trying to get me to either buy a second. He's like, "Yeah, dude, you gotta buy some clubs. And come play with us this summer and stuff." Like, dude,
yeah, we want to turn you all into golfers. All you guys are gonna be golfing with us soon.
I spend so much time in the gym and training and stuff, and with my family and stuff. And
yeah, it's not easy to take 4, 5, 6 hours out of your day.
I have to quit my job just to pick up golf, which I gladly do if I didn't have to pay the bills.
Yeah, if you could get paid to play golf.
You know what I mean? Yes. Imagine. It's probably one of the best sports to get paid for, right?
I'd love it. Traveling the world, playing golf for millions of dollars.
You've been playing for 16 years, and what's your average?
Yeah, I'm happy if I can shoot under 100.
Yeah.
Like I'm up and down golfer.
What's your strength?
Drop my drive.
Your drive.
I've always been a big driver, but on
Same
any
thing
given
here.
day, it's my follow-up shot that's horrible off the
chips?
fairway with my iron. My chip one day will be nice. The next day, just a disaster. My putting one day. Putting is such a huge, That's what you don't realize. You're losing 2-3 strokes on bad putts. Add that up over 18 holes. It's the difference between playing 110 and a 90-something, if you're having that bad of a day. It's just every stroke counts, and that's why I've always loved the fact that I could drive the ball far, and it was always fun and impressive, to show off the fact that you can drill it. But
I'm the same
there's
way.
a lot more to it. You may be able to hit a 250, 300, but those next 150, 200 yards are gonna if they take you 6 strokes before you put it in the hole. Well, that 250-yard drive.
I was all the same way. I could drive the ball for yards, but then after that, I get into the chip shot, and I couldn't fucking chip for shit. And then I get into the green, and I'm like, yeah, I can putt. That's easy. It's like, there's the hole. And I'm like, yeah, dude, that took me 8 shots to get that fucking ball in the hole. Like, what the fuck?
It's like Happy Gilmore. Why don't you just get in your home? What are you too good for your home?
So that's why I don't play golf. But I enjoy the fact that you can drink beer at 8 a.m. and it's all good because you're playing golf.
Yeah,
you're playing golf. No, I'm playing golf. It's good. I can drink beer.
Okay.
No. Dude, you're drinking at 8 a.m. Yeah, I know. But if I'm playing golf, no, I'm drinking. It's good.
I've been up since 5. It's all good.
It's good.
It's the only way we can get up that early on the weekends too. Go golf.
Would you get up any earlier for anything else?
No, I'll be getting up early tomorrow morning. I actually got asked. We're playing at 8:45 up in Mont Gabriel, so I got to wake up kind of early. I guess I got to wake up before 6. Playing with Ram and our buddy Zafiro.
Zeph.
He's
playing
nice
softball this year?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on with you guys in your softball season.
I don't play this yet. I've retired. I officially retired last year.
I don't think most of them are playing. I think they all kind of stopped. Most of them got married, had kids, and
made it to
the
the finals last year. 1 game away from winning, 2 games away from winning the championship. And I warned the guys that I was retiring. I was going to concentrate on my my training and my mixed martial arts.
Oh yeah.
I really want to get I would really like to get a few fights before I
was just about to ask you. Oh yeah, so you want to get a couple fights in?
Yeah,
I gotta come check out your gym there at Sherbetov. You said it's in Chamonix, right?
Chamonix.
No? Yeah.
Chamonix 25. It's just 2571 Chamonix. You know where I'll tell you. I forgot to tell you where there was, but you know where the Volkswagen dealership is on Chamonix?
Oh yeah, and right by the 440.
Right by the 440.
Oh okay.
It's basically the building between the Volkswagen dealership and the 440.
Oh okay.
There's a small building in the back, kind of right behind, and you just turn and it's right there. It's amazing, and I decided that I was going to spend. I mean, I've been training mixed martial art for 7-8 years, and I'm 32 years old, and I think I still have some something in the tank to fight, you know. And if I can just put enough time in the gym, and maybe I don't want to quit this before. I'll never quit this. I'm going to train till the day I die. I'm passionate about it, even if I don't fight. But I would like to get a professional fight before I call it official.
Yeah.
I fought. I'm amateur. I've never won any amateur. I'm 0-3, which sucks. But I would like to get my hand raised before I finish this off, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
And so I'm working hard, training as much as I can. And with the new gym now, I'm going to be working even harder. And hopefully I can get a few fights and get in that cage. And
I'll be in your corner if you do. I'll be watering you down and greasing you up.
Towel me down.
The Vaseline on the shoulders and chest like George style, no? This is how we did in Quebec. We put the Vaseline everywhere.
That's how we do it.
That's how we do it.
We're very French. We're very French. So, yeah, man. That's what I was doing. So, I mean... I think we should call this quits after.
Yeah, man. Well, it's been fun. We'll split this up into an 8-parter. It'll be a trilogy like the Lord of the Rings. It's okay.
Yeah, that's fine. I might put it on one or just split it part 1, part 2, so people can. Basically, the second part after the break, we just spit the shit about sports.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, we kind of did like politics, opinions, and other stuff, and then Arnold Schwarzenegger talk, and then sports.
So
that's the cutoff.
That's it. I'm calling this at 2 hours and 16 minutes and 40 seconds. Boom. I'm calling this podcast.
That's how we do it.
Thanks for tuning in to the Modern Maverick Podcast. Again, you visit us on our website, modernmaverick.net, on Facebook at Modern Maverick, on Twitter. You can visit me at Steph Paulin. If I'm any good at editing, video editing, you're probably seeing... I'm probably going to add my address right here at the bottom, my Twitter, my website, and the fucking anything else I need to add. Maybe I'll add like a little bar at the bottom. That's if I'm any good at video editing. If I'm not, then figure it out. Google that shit, all right? Google the Modern Maverick. Visit the website. Visit the Facebook. Visit my boy here. He's on Facebook. You do Twitter too?
Twitter, yeah, J Flynn MTL.
J Flynn
is
MTL.
I don't. It's usually I think it's connected with my Facebook still. Yeah. I usually put out a couple of gems on Facebook. So if they're
but I see you more on Facebook than I see on. But
I'll make sure to update my Twitter there. You know, I like to make people laugh. That's what I do. You
can visit me on Instagram as well. I use Instagram a lot more. Same thing as Twitter. Steph Paulin, STEPHPAULIN. Again, the Modern Maverick page on Facebook, the website modernmaverick.net. Visit me on Twitter. Visit my boy here, Jay Flynn, on Twitter and on Facebook as well. And that's it. I'll see you guys hopefully next week soon when we'll shoot another podcast and keep you guys entertained.
Yeah.
That's it. Done. Woo!
Good stuff, man.
Oh.